Let's load content in the other two sections. Content page 2 has a lot of text in it. We've placed a lot of text to simulate a page that will take a little longer to load. It just uses the lorem ipsum text that is standard in many demo pages. Content page 3 is a well-formed HTML page. Let's switch back to our main page and add the logic to load the contents. Here's what the code looked like when we left off. We'll add logic to add content 2 and content 3. Now when we run it, we should see content in all three sections. Before we click the load button, we need to pay close attention to the proceed button. The content in the second section will take a little longer to load than the other two sections. In that delay, the proceed button will actually be enabled. Watch closely, here comes the click. As stated, the proceed button was enabled prior to the content being loaded. In a case where it's not a button click, but some page processing, we may need to make sure the page is fully loaded before we actually proceed with something that requires elements in the loaded content. This can be a real challenge to debug. Debugging timing problems can be very troublesome. Just the act of placing trace logic in the code can slow things down enough to make everything work as expected. When we remove the tracing logic, the strange behavior resumes. This is a very common problem. We've all heard more than one developer exclaim, "It works fine on my machine." We did put the callback on section 3. Section 2 is the one that is taking a long time. Why not just move the callback to the longest section? First of all, that requires us to know which content will take the longest to load. Right now, that's section 2, but in the future, one of the other two sections may take longer. We can't base our logic on just what is happening right now. We have to expect the content will be different in the future. We really need to resist the urge to pick one specific load to attach a callback method to. What we really need is to be notified when each load is completed. Okay, what we really need is to know when all of the loads are complete. We'll get there, but let's investigate a little along the way. We're starting to expose some of the problems that are inherent to using the callback functions.